평화.
Peace here and now. Let me welcome all of you to the PyeongChang Peace Forum 2022. My name is Jennifer Clyde. I'll be serving as the MC of the opening ceremony. Celebrating the fourth year this year, the PyeongChang Peace Forum has quickly become a global peace platform thanks to all of your support. This year, under the main theme of the Declaration to End the Korean War and Beyond, we will cover the 5 agenda topics including economy, sports, DMZ peace zone, UN SDGs, and peace public policy. We will also cover the special topic, which is to promote cooperation for peace through the two Koreas co-hosting the 2024 Gangwon Winter Youth Olympic Games. This year again, we have 17 partner sessions organized by various organizations to discuss various issues concerning peace on the Korean Peninsula, East Asia, and the world. We have many participants, both online and offline. Let me first introduce the special distinguished guests who are here with us today. Please welcome them when I announce their names. First of all, Mr. Park Byung-seok, Speaker of the National Assembly. Thank you very much. Mr. Jim Rogers, Co-Chair of the 2022 PyeongChang Peace Forum. Ms. Kang Kum-sil, a co-chairperson of the PyeongChang Peace Forum. Mr. Son Hyuk-sang, co-chair. Thank you very much. Yang Gi-dae, member of the National Assembly. Kim Chang-jun, chairman of the Korea American Institute. Thank you very much. Next, Kwak Do-young, chairman of the Gangwon Provincial Council. Han Wang-gi, mayor of PyeongChang. Thank you very much. Last but not least, Governor Choi Moon-soon of Gangwon Province. Thank you very much for your presence. I wish to be able to introduce every one of the participants, but here at this venue, we have many moderators, speakers, and distinguished participants. Thank you very much. Now, I'd like to invite the opening speech to celebrate the opening of the 2022 PyeongChang Peace Forum, which will be delivered by the co-chair of the forum, as well as the representative of Peace for Earth, that is discussing complex global issues, and also chairperson of Gangwon Art and Culture Foundation, Ms. Kang Kum-sil. Please welcome her with a big round of applause.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the PyeongChang Peace Forum 2022. This is the fourth forum of its kind ever since the 2018 PyeongChang Winter Olympics. I have come from Seoul this morning. I predicted that it would be cold in PyeongChang, but it is even colder than I expected. Thank you very much for joining us in person despite the cold weather, and welcome. This is the third time that I am participating at the PyeongChang Peace Forum, and all 3 times we are hosting the forum under the pandemic. Many events were canceled or postponed because of the pandemic, but the PyeongChang Peace Forum, hosted here in Gangwon, has been hosted each and every year. I do believe that this shows how strong the determination of Gangwon Province is for peace on the Korean Peninsula. And I would like to mention this once again. In hosting the PyeongChang Winter Olympics in 2018, the person who has contributed the most to winning the bid for that Olympic, as well as hosting this PyeongChang Peace Forum, I would like to thank Governor Choi Mun-sun for all of his contributions. Thank you very much. We also have the PyeongChang Peace Center, and we believe that PyeongChang is a symbol of global peace, and this is represented by PyeongChang and the mayor of PyeongChang, as well as KOICA and the PyeongChang 2018 Legacy Foundation. Thank you very much to the staff of all four organizations for your efforts. Thank you also to His Excellency Speaker Park Byung-seok of the National Assembly, as well as Minister Lee In-young of the Ministry of Unification, who will be sharing his opening remarks with us via video. Thank you to all of the co-presidents. Minister Lee In-young was to join us in person, but I'm sure that you have seen in the news that this morning Russia invaded Ukraine, and in this 21st century, we continue to see the struggles between powers, and that is something that we are witnessing on this very day that we are hosting this peace forum, Dreaming of Peace. We hope to achieve peace not using any violent ways. We are against all violent forms of action. I do hope that PyeongChang Peace Forum today will deliver the message of peace to over 200 participants from around the world who are participating as speakers, as well as the audience who have joined us both online and offline. We are gathered here on the Korean Peninsula, where we are still a divided nation. We are gathered here to dream of peace and to envision peace together. I would also like to add that in 2024, we hope to be the host for the Gangwon 2024 Youth Olympic. We will be gathering the youth from around the world, and we hope that the youth can live in a future of peace on the Korean Peninsula. Let us gather our wisdom and determination to move forward for that peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was the opening speech delivered by Co-President Kang Geum-sil, and with that, we have opened the PyeongChang Peace Forum 2022. I sincerely hope that this forum will guide us into peace. The PyeongChang Peace Forum is a global peace platform that has been created and nurtured by many stakeholders and many experts, including Co-President Kang Geum-sil. We have a total of 6 co-presidents and members of the organizing committee representing various areas. And on behalf of them, we have 3 co-presidents that will deliver the welcoming remarks. First of all, I'd like to invite President of KOICA, Son Hyuk-sang, who is dedicated to global development cooperation for a more inclusive future. Please welcome President Son with a big round of applause. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Son Hyuk-sang. I am the president of KOICA. I would like to sincerely welcome Mr. Park Byung-seok, Speaker of the National Assembly, Governor Choi Mun-sun of Gangwon Province, as well as co-presidents Kang Geum-sil and Jim Rogers, and many other distinguished participants and online audience to the 2022 PyeongChang Peace Forum. I would also like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the Gangwon Province and PyeongChang County, as well as 2018 PyeongChang Legacy Foundation for organizing this forum despite many challenges. It was 4 years ago when we hosted the PyeongChang Winter Olympic Games, also known as the Peace Olympic Games, and since then, many have changed. When we look back on the past 4 years, we have had many ups and downs along the Korean Peninsula peace process, but I believe that we have made significant achievements. Most of all, I remember that we were able to end the phase of crisis on the Korean Peninsula and started to discuss peaceful coexistence. As we all remember, the discussion of peaceful coexistence will not be maintained by itself. We need to make continuous efforts to maintain the momentum of our discussion. In this regard, I believe that the motto of the PyeongChang Peace Forum 2022 is very timely as it is claiming peace here and now. Peace is not just an abstract discussion, but this is very much relevant to our reality. And we're discussing peace on this peninsula, and we are reminded of the importance of peace once again. But as you can see in today's breaking news of the Ukrainian situation, we know that peace is not something that we need to achieve not only on the Korean Peninsula, but many parts of the world. The pandemic has been going on for more than 2 years. And the pandemic has amplified many global challenges, including climate crisis, income disparity, inequalities, and gender discrimination. And the pandemic has further worsened conflicts and tension among generations, races, regions, and many parts of the society. We need to make further efforts to secure peace and avoid risks of conflict. For the past 2 years, the humanity was able to co-develop vaccines and distribute vaccines to developing countries through COVAX. But we, at the same time, saw many signs of nationalism and protectionism. And many parts of the world, they have been blaming other countries for their domestic issues caused by the pandemic. Peace is not easy to achieve. But in order to maintain the state of peace, we need to work really hard. Otherwise, peace may slip through our fingers instantly, and the pandemic has taught us this very important lesson. I am representing here KOICA, and KOICA is dedicated to implementing the SDGs, which have been agreed by the international community. And one of the core values and principles of the SDGs is peace. And that is why the UN SDGs is part of the main agenda for the PyeongChang Peace Forum. Of the 17 SDGs, peace is included in SDG goal number 16. It argues for peace, justice, and strong institutions. It shows that peace is a means to implement the SDGs, but it is an objective and a goal that we need to achieve at the same time. We cannot develop without peace, and we cannot achieve peace without development. It means that development without peace will not be sustainable. If hunger, famine, discrimination, and isolation are not addressed, peace will be threatened, and we will see increasing conflicts. And discussing peace on the global stage as is important as discussing peace on the Korean Peninsula. I would also like to ask for your support in implementing the SDGs and promoting international cooperation for development in order to achieve peace. KOICA will continue to work with various domestic and global partners to eliminate threats to peace and continue to promote international cooperation for development. Let me now close my welcoming remarks. The global challenges, including the climate crisis and the pandemic, are very complicated and multidimensional, and they're all interrelated. Therefore, we need to find more integrative and creative solutions to addressing these global challenges. These challenges cannot be addressed or resolved by any single country or an institution. We need partnership and cooperation of various organizations and institutions. Therefore, we need to strengthen our level of cooperation to achieve peace. We will have this 2022 PyeongChang Peace Forum for 3 days, starting from today. There are various sessions prepared for you, where you will be able to find experts, activists, and members of the central and local governments and international organizations to put their heads together and find solutions to the global challenges. And I'd like to ask for your active participation and share your wisdom and experience. I would like to welcome not only the offline participants, but online participants who are joining us from around the world. And I hope that we can find an integrative and creative solution to peace. I also hope that peace on the Korean Peninsula will contribute to global peace, and discussion on global peace will contribute to building peace on the Korean Peninsula, which will indeed create a virtuous cycle. Once again, I'd like to thank all the organizers for putting together this forum, and I hope that this forum will continue to grow into the future when we will have the next Winter Olympic Games. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sonhyuk-sang, for your remarks. Next, we would like to invite an IOC member as well as the coordinating member for the 2024 Gangwon Youth Olympics, who is also a co-president for this conference. He has sent us his remarks right after the Beijing Olympics.
Dear friends and colleagues, greetings to you all. My name is Zhang Hong, a member of IOC and co-chair of PyeongChang Peace Forum Organizing Committee. I express a warm welcome and many thanks to all the participants, hosts, and organizers for their efforts. 4 years have passed since PyeongChang 2018 successful and peaceful conclusion. The legacy of peace and the PyeongChang spirit is continuing through this forum. And it is with great pleasure and honor for me to be part of this. Governor Shen Min-sun, Mayor Han Wang-ji, my dearest friend Liu Ching-min, and other 5 co-chairs, please accept my deepest gratitude for taking the time for this forum. Despite the difficulties posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, the Olympic Winter Games Beijing 2022 is trying to pursue the ultimate goals of the Games. Just like PyeongChang 2018 proved how the power of sport and the passion of athletes can unite the world as one and build a better world through sport. Building on experiences of Beijing 2022, I will do my very best to help prepare for the upcoming Gangwon 2024 Winter Youth Olympic Games as the chair of the Coordination Commission. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of you supporting us in our journey towards peace. I sincerely look forward to the day when the pandemic is over and we get together in person in PyeongChang, Gangwon soon. Peace here and now. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your welcome.
We have just heard from co-president Chang Hong. We would now like to hear from the U.S. chair of the World Inter-Gangwon, as well as the advisor to the Geneva Leadership Public Policy Research Institute. We have co-president Arthur Lindsley. Let us listen to his remarks.
Hello, this is Art Lindsley speaking to you from Washington, D.C. It's an honor to be co-chair of the PyeongChang Peace Forum again this year. Peace is never something we can take for granted. In 2021 alone, there have been 40 ongoing wars. We can't passively hope that peace will emerge. We need to be fighters for peace. We need to be peacemakers. This means making ourselves vulnerable. If you place yourself in the middle of a conflict, You will likely be misunderstood by people on both sides. We hope through a vigorous exchange of ideas to see breakthroughs of insight and cooperation. There's hope for resolution of many of these conflicts, even though the solution sometimes seems impossible. The answer may be closer than you think. It never seemed possible that the wall would come down between East and West Germany, but it did come down. Starting on November 9th, 1989, and before long it was gone. The same thing could happen in many places, including North Korea. All it would take is courageous leaders like Gorbachev or leaders in East Berlin to change their policy. We can't give up hope that change can happen and peace be achieved. In September 2019, I was present at a meeting at the DMZ where an MOU was signed between Governor Moon Sun-choi and Global Hope Network International. In November 2019, the governor brought a delegation to Washington, D.C., where we had meetings at the White House, the State Department, and later at the Senate, where the governor spoke to a significant audience. In 2020, I was asked to be chairman of the Inter-Gangwon Cooperation Committee. We've been working on a number of initiatives to forward peace on the Korean Peninsula. I only wish that I was able to be with you in person as I was in 2019. My hope and prayer for you is that numerous solutions will be put forward that will contribute to the settling of conflicts. David Beasley, the executive director of the UN World Food Program, calls food a weapon of peace. This is because hunger often drives conflict. I hope we can devise strategies to develop weapons of peace that will address other causes of conflict. Thank you for the honor of being part of a co-chairman this year. I look forward to listening to other speakers at this significant moment. Thank you for the honor of speaking to you.
Thank you for your encouraging words and your warm welcome. 아트 린슬리 공동위원장님.
We heard from Art Lindsley. Thank you very much. Let's move on to hear congratulatory messages for the success of the PyeongChang Peace Forum 2022. First of all, on behalf of the National Assembly of the Republic of Korea, we have with us Mr. Park Byung-seok, Speaker of the National Assembly. Please welcome him with a big round of applause. Thank you very much. I would like to express my gratitude to Governor Choi Moon-sun, Mayor Han Hwang-gi, as well as former Minister Kang Geum-sil and President Son Hyuk-sang and 6 co-presidents of the forum. Thank you very much for your effort.
그리고 특히 우리 김 로저스
I would also like to acknowledge Chairman Jim Rogers,
영하 15도로
and he has come to Korea to overcome the temperature difference of 45 degrees.
그리고 평소에 제가 존경하고 가깝게
I would also like to mention that there are many distinguished participants. National Assemblyman Yang Gi-dae and Lee Young-ok, former Minister of Gender Equality and Family, as well as U.S. Congressman Mr. Kim, and
원행 큰 스님 여러분들
we have also Buddhist monk Yeol-hoon. Thank you very much. 4 years ago, here in PyeongChang,
만들어서
it was winter as a season, but we opened the spring of the Korean Peninsula.
세계가 하나 된
At that time, the world was united and there was passion connected.
다시
However, now, once again on the Korean Peninsula, we are going through a very cold and severe winter.
이곳에서의 슬로건을 가지고 다시
But we want to revitalize the embers of peace by claiming that there's peace here and now. We need to open a spring of sustainable peace. And we're gathered here to find wisdom to open the new spring.
우리
The peninsula is still divided between the north and the south. Therefore, peace is very much an economic issue as well. And I hope that the participants at the forum will guide us into the direction of peace.
신뢰가 있어야 합니다.
In order to build peace, we need trust. Trust between the two Koreas and trust between the US and the DPRK.
미국과 중국의
We need to build trust.
의지가 필요합니다.
Also, we need to revitalize the commitment to peace by the US and China.
굳건한 공감대가 있습니다.
And to do that, we also need to build the consensus among the people in Korea to realize peace. And we need to take steps
그리고 머뭇거리지도 말고
persistently. We should not stop. We should not take a pause. We should continue to walk the walk.
평창 청소년 동계 올림픽이
We are going to host the 2024 Gangwon Youth Winter Olympics. And I hope that all of us will work together to utilize this Olympics as an opportunity to build peace, sustainable peace on the Korean Peninsula. Once again, thank you very much.
네, 의장님 감사합니다.
Thank you very much for your remarks.
다음은 평화와
Next, we would like to invite Minister Lee In-young of the Ministry of Unification, who has worked on peace and reconciliation for a very long time. Pleased to meet you. I am Lee In-young, Minister of Unification of the Republic of Korea. Congratulations on the successful hosting of the PyeongChang Peace Forum 2022. It is indeed a great pleasure to meet you on this beautiful winter PyeongChang day amidst the determination and passion for peace. Thank you to Governor Choi Mun-sun and Mayor Han Wang-sang, as well as President Son Hyuk-sang for this event. And thank you to Chairman Kang Geum-sil of the Gangwon Art and Culture Foundation, as well as Ms. Chang Heung, co-president of this forum, and Mr. Arthur Lindsley, a co-president, as well as Speaker of the National Assembly, for joining us today and also for your determination and passion for peace. I would like to extend a special thank you to Chairman Jim Rogers for joining us as the keynote speaker. It is indeed a great pleasure to meet you again. We look forward to your insightful presentation on the dynamic future of the Republic of Korea ushered in through the peace on the Korean Peninsula. Throughout the next 3 days, we have with us members of the academia, the government, and civic groups who are to discuss peace and reconciliation. Thank you very much and welcome to this forum. Distinguished guests from home and abroad, we see that tension in the international political arena is increasing and the uncertainties on the Korean Peninsula is also rising. We believe that we are currently at an inflection point determining the future of the Korean Peninsula. Currently, our future is very difficult to make a breakthrough. However, given this situation, I believe that determination and passion is needed again, which is the spirit of PyeongChang that we ignited in 2018. The spring of PyeongChang in 2018 did not happen by coincidence. It was not something that happened naturally. The situation just before the Winter Olympics was very bleak. In 2017, when there was the inauguration of the Moon Jae-in administration, there was enhanced tension on the Korean Peninsula due to the testing of nuclear weapons by North Korea, as well as the launch of ballistic missiles. Amidst this situation, President Moon has been able to realize a peaceful Olympics here in PyeongChang, and he announced the Berlin Agenda. He urged that North Korea comes to the table of dialogue and cooperation, and he also made sure that North Korea realizes our principle of not trying to topple the North Korean regime nor achieve unification through absorption. And through much difficulty, North Korea participated in the 2018 PyeongChang Winter Olympics, coming back to the table for dialogue, and we were able to start a new journey for peace. Distinguished guests from home and abroad, the spirit of PyeongChang is the patience striving for peace. It is the wisdom for proactive peace. It is the courage to advocate for peace at all times. The lesson of PyeongChang is quite clear. What decides the future of the Korean Peninsula is not the situation surrounding the Korean Peninsula, but it is up to us who are the stakeholders of peace on the Korean Peninsula. With this memory lingering within us from PyeongChang, it is indeed a great pleasure to be able to join this forum to talk about peace. At this forum, I hope that we are able to discuss agendas for a creative cooperation for our future. As Chairman Jim Rogers has always reiterated, the Korean Peninsula will indeed become the most interesting place on earth when we picture our future based on peace from the Korean Peninsula. We also need to make sure that we stand between the two Koreas so that we can cooperate for transnational agendas including food, health, environment, energy, and economy. I hope that we could have sustainable peace on the Korean Peninsula by sharing a vision amongst us. And that is why it is great to see that the National Contract for Peace and Unification has been included as one of the sessions for this forum. The National Contracts for Peace and Unification is an agreement achieved through social dialogue amidst many people on the Korean Peninsula with various perspectives. Regardless of political affiliation, beyond administration, we can achieve peace. Regardless of generation, we can achieve peace together. This contract holds the passion for peace amongst the public of the two Koreas. Although we were not able to cross the river of peace, we look forward to proceeding with peace throughout future administrations. Based on the consensus of the people of Korea and the international society, this government will do its best to keep up with our responsibilities until the very end. Distinguished guests from home and abroad, however age-old land may be, if you plant a new seed, you can see that new flowers will blossom and new fruits will come from that flower. The Korean Peninsula has been divided for a very long time, but if we continue to plant the seed of coexistence, we will indeed see the blossom of peace and the fruit of prosperity that we had never experienced before. On this way towards our dream, I hope that the two Koreas will work together with the international society. I also hope that this year's Peace Forum will become a starting point for the message of peace and unification. I do believe that the spirit of PyeongChang is a spirit asking for North Korea to come back to the table for dialogue and cooperation. We hope to create a miracle together between the two Koreas. Thank you very much for supporting peace on the Korean Peninsula. I thank you and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
네, 이인영
Minister Lee In-young of the Ministry of Unification, thank you very much. Next,
지대한 관심을 갖고
I'd like to invite a special congratulatory message from someone very special, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who has been providing us with support for peace on the Korean Peninsula. Please take a look.
It is a pleasure to send my warmest greetings to the PyeongChang Peace Forum. We are living in a time of escalating geopolitical tensions and divisions, when misunderstanding or miscalculation could have disastrous consequences for humanity. It will take unity and solidarity to turn the tide and realize the PyeongChang Peace Forum vision of peace here and now. Inclusive and participatory dialogue for peace is imperative. Your discussions are also fundamental to advancing the proposals I have put forward in my own report, Our Common Agenda. This is an agenda of action driven by a vision of global cooperation through inclusive, networked, and effective multilateralism. The active engagement of civil society, young people, and many others will help drive crucial transformations, including the development of a new agenda for peace, which focuses on reducing risks, investing in preventing and peace building, and ensuring women and girls are at the center of peace and security policy. I welcome the Republic of Korea's strong support for multilateralism and cooperation. And I welcome your efforts at this forum to foster cooperation in a wide range of areas, including sustainable development, sports, and public diplomacy. The latest developments in the region have reminded us of the need for peaceful diplomatic solutions. We are all inspired by the powerful image of the two Koreas marching together at the PyeongChang Winter Olympics. As the world is closing another Olympic chapter, let PyeongChang remain a symbol of renewed dialogue and friendship. The United Nations applauds your initiatives to bring people together in support of lasting peace on the peninsula. I wish you a successful forum in line with the PyeongChang peace spirit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Antonio Guterres.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the UN. Thank you very much for all those who have delivered their remarks.
계속해서 2020
We will now go on to the performance
기원하는
for the successful hosting of the PyeongChang Peace Forum 2022. We would like to invite the following distinguished guests up to the stage.
박병석 국회의원,
His Excellency Park Byung-seok, Speaker of the National Assembly,
Jim Rogers,
Chairman Jim Rogers, Chairman of Rogers Holdings,
그리고 다음은 강원문화재단
Chairperson Kam Geum-sil from the Gangwon Art and Culture Foundation, President Son Hyuk-sang of KOICA,
한왕
Mayor Han Wang-gi of PyeongChang,
네, 그리고 최
and last but not least, Governor Choi Mun-sun of Gangwon Province. Please join us on stage.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you very much for joining us on stage.
오늘 퍼포먼스는 평창
We will have the opening performance. This is a performance to wish for the successful hosting of the PyeongChang Peace Forum 2022.
여러분께서는
We would now like to ask the distinguished guests on stage to
풀어주시면 되는데요.
to
네, and a message for
untie the scarves on stage.
okay. 평화의 길을 가기 위해 우리가 풀어야
So on the way to peace, there are many knots that we need to untie, and so we will untie the scarves together. 1, 2, 3. Please untie the scarves. Thank you very much.
네, 그리고 이어서 기념사진 촬영
We will now take a commemorative photo. Please stand on stage.
위원회
We would like to ask you to please stand on stage as we take a commemorative photo.
네, 그리고 내빈들께서는 정면을 바라봐
And please face forward.
네, 사진 촬영.
We will now take a picture.
네, 앞으로 나와 주셔서 자리해 주시면 감사하겠습니다.
Please stand on stage at the designated spot.
네, welcome to the stage. 네, 모두 준비되셨나요?
Are we all ready?
무대 위 내빈들께서는 정면을 바라
We would like to ask you to please face forward.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you very much. Please return to your seats. Thank you very much.
평창 알펜시아 컨벤션 센터
We are currently hosting the 2022 PyeongChang Peace Forum here at Alpensia Convention Center.
참여
In 2008, we had acute confrontations between the two Koreas and also with the US. But there was a performance that was the hope of peace. That is the 2008 New York Philharmonic Pyongyang performance. We have with us a New York Philharmonic string quartet who visited Pyongyang at that time with assistant concert master Michelle Kim. We will now invite the string quartet.
첫 번째 공연
The first piece was an encore during the performance in Pyongyang. It is Arirang in the variation for string quartet from a Fantasia version by composer Choi Sung-hwan.
곡입니다. 뉴욕 필하모닉
Let us invite the New York Philharmonic String Quartet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Philharmonic String Quartet. 네, 정말 격조.
It was indeed a beautiful performance.
방금 멋진 무대 보여주신 뉴욕 필하모닉.
We have with us Cynthia Phelps and Carter Bray, members of the New York Philharmonic String Quartet.
오케스트라 단원으로.
They were the members of the New York Philharmonic Orchestra in 2008, and they went to Pyongyang to perform in front of the North Korean audience. Back in 2008, there was a lot of tension on the Korean peninsula, so it was not easy to imagine that such a concert could be held. But they performed various pieces, including the national anthem of the US, the American in Paris, and Dvorak's Symphony No. 9 from the New World. These were known as very American pieces. And then the North Korean audience applauded for their performance. It was indeed an inspiring moment. And this Pyongyang performance in 2008 was broadcast in PBS and ABC in the US. And it was recognized as providing a turning point in improving the relations between the US and the DPRK. So now we would like to invite them to hear from them directly as they were in Pyongyang. I'd like to invite some of the members of the orchestra to learn more about what had happened in Pyongyang back in 2008.
뉴욕 필하모닉 스트링 쿼텟.
Let me invite Frank Huang, Chen Lee, Cynthia Phelps, and Carter Bray, members of the New York Philharmonic String Quartet members, as well as Michelle Kim, assistant concert master, and Governor Choi Moon-soon, who visited Pyongyang back then in 2008 as a leader of the MBC broadcasting team. I believe that the stage is being prepared. I'd like to invite these 6 people up on the stage.
무대 위로 모시겠습니다. 큰 박수.
Come up on the stage. Please welcome them with a big round of applause.
First of all, I would like to welcome you to PyeongChang. Thank you so much for being with us today for this very grand event. And I would like to thank you on behalf of everyone here and everyone joining us on and offline for the beautiful music. Thank you so much. Thank you. We would love to hear stories about your performance when you visited in Pyongyang in 2008. And I'd like to begin by asking Frank Huang, We were so thrilled to hear that we would be given the opportunity to listen to the string quartet version of Arirang right here in PyeongChang at the Peace Forum, especially because Arirang was the song that the New York Philharmonic Orchestra played back in 2008 in Pyongyang. It's very tricky. So could you kindly introduce the New York Philharmonic Quartet as well as the music pieces that you performed for us today?
Yes, so my name is Frank Huang. I am the concertmaster of the New York Philharmonic. And my quartet colleagues, Chen Lee, Cynthia Phelps, and Carter Bray, and Michelle also is a colleague, but not in the quartet. And we are very happy to be here and to be a part of this great forum. Today we had the joy of playing Arirang for you. And this piece, I know there are many versions of this piece, but for me, it's always special to play something like this because the idea that the piece represents, being sad that you cannot be with a loved one, being separated, and then the joy of being reunited with someone that you love. It's something that all of us have experienced, no matter where you're from, what country you live in, and whether it's because of different circumstances like South Korea and North Korea, or even recently because of the pandemic, a lot of people could not be with their loved ones. So for me, this kind of music, the way that it can transform different barriers and everybody can understand these emotions makes it very special for us. And the second piece we played, the Quartet Satz by Franz Schubert. This was a quartet movement written by Schubert in 1820 when he was only in his early 20s, and he was already developing his late style. And for us, it's a meaningful piece. It's one of the first pieces we played as a string quartet when we formed. And even though it has this stormy and dark opening and ending, there's so much joy and hope in the middle. And to capture all these characters in such a short piece makes it really quite special.
Thank you so much. Sure, music is so powerful, as you've mentioned, and it sure, I believe, unites people. Thank you so much. My next question is for Chen Lee. I heard that it was especially difficult for you to travel to Korea. Did you all have to go through self-quarantining? Yes.
Yes, we all had to quarantine in the hotel for 7 days.
7
So we were isolated, but the nice thing is that our room were all next to each other, and we had each other. We can hear each other practicing, knowing that we are next to each other help us get through the 7 days. It actually flew by really quickly. Every day around meal deliver time, I can hear my colleagues opening their door and get the meal. So we all had this collective way of dealing with this. And every day we scheduled this Zoom call. We call them sunset happy hour. Just we meet on Zoom, we get a drink, and we talk about how our day was, and we watch a sunset. So when we came out of the quarantine, when we were having the first rehearsal, we were just remembering how happy and so happy to be playing together. And we were just constantly laughing and saying, this music is so beautiful. We were just so happy. And we're very happy to be here, finally out of quarantine to play for Korean audiences. I'm very happy to be here in this Peace Forum. I'm very honored.
Yes, it must have been very difficult because, of course, to perform, you do have to rehearse, not just once, but so many times. But having been isolated from everyone, just having to be stuck in your own rooms, not being able to see each other, although you were in the same hotel.
Yeah.
So you actually rehearsed through Zoom?
No, we couldn't. But on Zoom, sometimes we talked about the bowings. And when we came out of rehearsal yesterday, we rehearsed for 6 hours before our first concert. And that was really fun also.
So although you had to go through all the difficulties and, self-quarantining, you're here in PyeongChang. So how does it feel to finally be here? Did you have a chance to look around the area, or what does PyeongChang feel like to you?
It's very beautiful. We haven't had a chance to explore much yet, but from our window, we have this beautiful view of a lake and the mountain, and we see this big ski shoot thing, and we look forward to explore that area very much.
The weather's very cold. Be careful not to catch a cold. And my next question is for 최문순 도지사님께 질문을 드리겠습니다. 도지사님께서는 뉴욕
And so, Governor Choi, you met some of the members of the New York Philharmonic before, and I'm sure you were filled with memories of 2008. So how did you enjoy today's performance? First of all, you may wonder why I am sitting on the stage. But at that time, I was the president of the broadcasting station, and we invited the New York Philharmonic, and we went to Pyongyang together. So I was part of that. And when the quartet performed Arirang, it was very special for me because it was specially rearranged for the Pyongyang performance. Especially Michelle Kim was crying when she was playing this piece. Because Michelle Kim is also known as Mi-kyung in Korean name. Her Korean name is Mi-kyung, and she is a very proud and genius violinist, a Korean descendant. And she was crying when she was performing this piece. And there were all these high-level ranking officials and leaders of the North Korean party in this audience. And it was actually the first time that the U.S. national anthem was played in Pyongyang, and the U.S. national flag was, as was shown in one of the photos, was displayed in the concert hall. So it was a very significant moment. And in the concert hall, there were many people enjoying this concert, and they would all shed tears, and there was a standing ovation at the end of the concert. It was, I think, more than 10 minutes or 15 minutes continuous standing ovation, and these North Korean audience, they were there congratulating the performance, and you can see that there was this national flag, and it was a very inspiring moment. Yes, I saw in this introductory video that I almost was filled with tears myself as well. I wonder how was this concert finally put together in 2008? Was it complicated? Yes, the entire process of preparing for this was complicated. In 2006, North Korea conducted the second nuclear testing. Therefore, there was a lot of tension between North Korea and the US. And there was a businessman called PyeongChang who was doing business in the US, and he came up with this idea of inviting the New York Philharmonic and going to Pyongyang. So he contacted us, and we had to go through many different steps. And at that time, President Bush and State Department and North Korea and South Korea, we had to talk to many different parties in order to put this concert together. And at that time, the situation on the Korean Peninsula was very tense because of the nuclear testing. But thanks to our persistent effort, we were able to arrange this concert. And I think it takes a lot of effort and dedication to make this happen. And at that time, the North Korean orchestra was scheduled to visit the US, and it didn't happen. But we are looking forward to a season 2 of the performance in Pyongyang. Michelle Kim is now assistant concertmaster, and I hope that she will help us in making that happen. I can feel this excitement from Governor Choi. Thank you very much.
My next question is for Ms. Cynthia Phelps and Mr. Carter Bray. It must have been, back then, it must have been a very difficult decision for the members of the New York Philharmonic Orchestra to actually say, yes, we will go to Pyongyang. Was that the case?
Well, I mean, we didn't have a personal choice in it. It was presented to us. We had somebody from the State Department actually come and speak to the entire orchestra, which I found very comforting. I know that many of the South Korean members of the orchestra were quite nervous And in fact, we all had a lot of apprehension before we went. Our previous stop was in Beijing, and we had the Swedish ambassador to North Korea come and speak with us about protocols and our minders and what we should avoid as far as topics went and how we should conduct ourselves. We knew that our phones would be taken away, our passports would be taken away, so certainly we were very nervous about the whole thing. I must say though, when we went, we were treated like royalty. We had beautiful meals and banquets and entertainment, and when we actually got on stage to perform, the warmth from the audience, although not immediate, kept growing as the music was being played. And then, as it was mentioned before, by the time we got to Arirang, there was just a palpable emotional energy. And indeed, we were not able to leave the stage because the clapping was just so fervent and intense and nonstop. And so really, at the end, we just all waved to each other from the stage to the audience. We waved, and it was just so moving. And many of us were in tears. My Korean friends were making fun of me. They said, "You're not even Korean. Why are you crying?" But I was just so touched because I have many dear friends. And one of my dearest friends actually lost her brother and never saw him again. He was 10 years older, and he was taken during the war, and she never saw him again until 50 years later. And she told me this story, and I knew that he was in the audience, and I wanted to just meet him somehow, but I knew I couldn't. So it was a very, very emotional experience. And in fact, we had Carter and I got the chance to make some chamber music with some of the musicians. I'll let Carter tell you about that because that was very, very special too.
Mm-hmm. So tell us about your experience and how you felt about the whole.
Well, yes, Cynthia mentioned that she was a bit apprehensive, as were many of our colleagues, because one is naturally apprehensive about that which you don't know about. But what I understood once we had arrived in North Korea was that our counterparts, our North Korean counterparts, also obviously were quite apprehensive going into a completely unknown situation.
Yes.
And it was interesting to see in the course of the couple of days that we spent there how they also relaxed towards us. Cynthia and I were lucky enough to participate in what was originally supposed to be a reading session of the Mendelssohn Octet. 4 of us from the New York Philharmonic, with 4 principal players from the PyeongChang Symphony. And initially our contact was very formal, a little bit stilted, stiff. Mm-hmm. We were all shy. It was like learning a new language, learning how to interact with each other. But we did have a language in common, which of course was music.
Music, yes.
And we read through the first movement. We had been told that was all we were supposed to do, but it went very well, and the audience seemed to like it very much. So we looked at each other and we decided to continue playing through to the end of the composition, all 4 movements. And by the end of the performance, the 8 of us were smiling at each other, giving each other high fives. It was quite something. So I think that was very indicative of the potential for human understanding that one can reach at least through music, and a reminder that all of us suffer from the same hopes and fears as human beings. We all share those.
So often people, I would imagine, would ask you, so how different or similar was Pyongyang compared to what you would imagine it to be? So in the beginning, maybe it was a different thing, but then later on it took some time for you to kind of warm up, but definitely it was a very meaningful and very special experience for you, I believe.
Extremely special.
Yes. Thank you. And also, now this question is for you, Michelle Kim. In that introductory video that we took a look at, you were being interviewed.
I don't know. I didn't see it, so I don't know.
Oh, you didn't see it? Okay, well, yes. 잠깐 지나갔어요. So there was, a part of you being interviewed, and I was just wondering how it felt to see people just crying, being so touched through music, and what the atmosphere was like, on stage or just in Pyongyang, especially when you had the chance to really just feel and see the reaction of the audience. What was the whole experience like for you?
앞에서 말씀하신 것처럼
As the other people mentioned, I think we were united in this music. And what really broke my heart at the beginning when I just visited Pyongyang was that they all knew that we were all connected and we wanted to talk, but North Koreans were not allowed to do so. They had to restrain themselves. And I had a chance to go and visit a school for children, and I taught some of the music concepts to these children, and I brought some musical instruments, and I don't know if they were delivered to the children, but when I looked at the conditions of the instruments, they were not in good condition. And what really broke my heart when I was talking to these children was that they didn't really know what the outside world would look like. So they were happy in there. But now with this internet, I heard that North Korean people do know what's happening outside of North Korea. But so I feel a little better, but that doesn't mean that things have changed inside North Korea. And you know that a lot of seniors would say that there's this emotion, this compressed emotion and sorrow in the people's hearts, in Korean people's hearts. And I went to the US with my family when I was 10, but I think I felt this special emotion or Korean unique emotion called Han at that time. And at that time, some would say that Arirang is a happy song and Arirang is rather a sad piece. So there are many interpretations of Arirang at that time. But when I was performing Arirang, I felt that we were the same people, but we were very different. So my heart was rather sad. And at that time, I felt sad also because I had to leave. And we were there not to perform for the elite in North Korea, but for those who were not able to appreciate music, but we were there in front of the elite. That was quite unfortunate. So that was 2008, long time ago. But as I was listening to you, I felt like I was transported back there, and I am actually filled with the same emotions as if I were there, and I wonder how moved I would be. So you were not able to deliver the instruments directly to the children? No, I was not able to do so because there were security people watching me. There was this very handsome and good-looking young security guard, and there was another older security guard, and I was not allowed to do this and that, and so it was not easy for me to go through them and reach out directly to the children.
그리고 자 마지막으로
The last question goes to Governor Choi Mun-soon. As we listen to the story of the performance in Pyongyang, it seems that art can do what politics cannot. In order to reopen the door for exchanges, what should be our future direction?
이제 이게 정치는 아니지만
Well, this is not politics, but it is the most refined version of politics. It's politics, but not politics. Chairman Kim Jong-il at that time talked about the politics of music, how there was this revolutionary political event between North Korea and the US. And so if we use only politics, it's very difficult, but through art, through performance, through sports, we can move the hearts of the stakeholders. We had the opportunity to see students at the Pyongyang University of Music, and you wanted to invite them to New York. And so I hope that we can open the exchanges, and I hope that you can join us in these exchanges with the students from New York and Pyongyang. So this brings us to the end of the talk, and we will go to the last performance of the opening ceremony. Please return to your seats, and we would now like to invite Michelle Kim for the last performance. Thank you very much for joining us today.
And for sharing your stories with us. Thank you. 네, 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
A big round of applause, please.
지금까지
So here at this venue, we were able to appreciate a beautiful performance by the New York Philharmonic String Quartet, and we also had a chance to have a peace talk on this Pyongyang performance in 2008.
문화예술의
This was a rare and very valuable opportunity for us to be able to feel the power of art and culture. And it was very special to hear directly from the members of the orchestra who visited Pyongyang in 2008. We now have one last very special stage by Michelle Kim, and the first piece is titled Sorrow and Grace, which is a mashup between Amazing Grace and Korean folk music arranged by Kim Deok-kyu. It is a solo performance. Please welcome Michelle Kim with a big round of applause.
이어지는 곡은
Next, we would like to invite a song that it represents peace, Imagine by John Lennon, and it is a rearranged version combined with Meet Again, which is a North Korean song. We will be inviting Michelle Kim, also a player of haegum, which is a Korean instrument, and ongnyugum, which is a North Korean instrument. Let us invite this melody of peace.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you very much. Another big round of applause, please.
2008년
In 2008, we started with a performance in Pyongyang. We went on to 2018 PyeongChang Winter Olympics, and now we are here at the 2022 PyeongChang Peace Forum. It was indeed very moving and beautiful. I would like to take this opportunity to once again thank the New York Philharmonic String Quartet, Michelle Kim, Kang Eun-il, and Kim Ha-yeon. We would like to invite them back to the stage. Thank you very much for joining us all the way from the US to perform for us today. Thank you to the string quartet of the New York Philharmonic, Ms. Michelle Kim, Ms. Kang Eun-il, and Ms. Kim Ha-yeon. We would like to deliver some flowers to show our appreciation.
네, 좋은 공연 보여주신
Thank you very much for the beautiful performance. Another big round of applause, please.
네, 사진 촬영을 하도록 할까요?
We would now like to take a commemorative photo.
아, 이쪽으로. Can we move one step to the right or two steps to the right, please? 이쪽으로. 네, 이쪽으로. 네, 이쪽으로. 네, 됐습니다. Thank you very much. We would like to take a moment for a group photo. 네, 사진 촬영 마무리하도록.
This will end the commemorative photo session. Another big round of applause, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that moving and beautiful performance.
자리로 돌아가 주시죠.
Please return to your seats.
Return to your seats. Thank you very much. 네. 자, 지금까지
Thank you for joining us for the opening ceremony of the PyeongChang Peace Forum 2022.
이곳에서
Under the theme of Peace, Here and Now, we will continue our 3 days of dialogue. We have prepared a DMZ Peace Zone within the metaverse. This will enable you to have meetings within the DMZ Peace Zone. We look forward to your interest and support. This brings us to the end of the opening ceremony. Thank you very much.